Yo, what's up? It's Ookay here. I got some tips and tricks for FL Studios. Stuff that I use all the time, stuff that's helped my workflow. Hope you guys enjoy this. Let's get right into it. All right, so my first trick is setting up your hot cues for your mixer and your effects. So I don't see anyone talking about this. I don't know why, but let me show you. Basically, what you do is you find a plugin that you like a lot. For me, I use parametric EQ, so I'll locate the file, rename it with a number. I use 1 for this one because I use it the most. When I close it, refresh, I'm able to go to the mixer tracks here, a slot number, press 1, pops up. And this doesn't have to be like a native FL plugin. It can be like, for example, if you use M Auto Pitch or something, I press 6, pops up. I use this all the time. I use 2 for limiter. I use 4 for Edison, and it's just a really useful and fast way to get to your plugins, especially the ones I use all the time. Highly recommend that. If you haven't done that, what are you waiting for? All right, so this next tip or technique is a little more advanced, but still really fun to do. Let's say you like this chord shot, right? Pretty dope. But you want it to follow the pattern of the drums that you're using. So for example, I'm using these percussion. I'm able to actually double click on it. It'll bring up the sampler. Right click. And then you go to audio editor. It'll pop up here. You full select it. And then on your actual plugin, you're able to go to Fruity Convolver is what I use. And instead of an impact like that, you can import the drums like that, and it'll actually turn the pad. It'll turn the pad into like a rhythmic, So altogether, it sounds really cool, and it kind of all flows. Yeah, it's a cool way to just fill in that space, but have it feel very consistent and cohesive. Highly recommend trying that for filling up like a certain area of a song. Super clutch. I use it a lot, so super dope. Another tip I like to do a lot is giving character to my 808s, because it's really easy for you to use like just a sustained note. For example, that. A quick way to make those 808s slide and hit a note without like having to do it in the piano roll is going to pogo, and you can just kind of slide it up, I would say 30%, and it'll give it that kind of character. You can obviously cut it by 1 by itself, and then instead of just like the regular, kind of just adds a little bit more character, more impact for a song. I use this trick a lot, and it's super useful. And yes, if I'm kind of stuck on like percussion and like going through sample packs or whatever, what I like to do is I'll go to Flex, which is a native plugin here. I gotta find it. It's right here, and they have a lot of cool sounds in here already, but let's say for example there's like this percussion, right? I like to honestly just go into the piano roll, and it has like, I think 120 hits all the way down, and I'll just honestly randomize and I'll press play first, and then I'll randomize, and I use the metronome to kind of see where my placement is. But sometimes you can find some really cool stuff. Sometimes it's crazy, obviously. Or what I like to do is just like add a chord, whatever that may be, right? You find a couple, and then you can just ARP it. For me, it's option A on Mac. But there's different pattern presets here, so you can like kind of mess around with it, and then mess with the range, and then obviously you could flip, alternate, and then you can select it all. And then you can even press Command L, which is, it'll extend it all the way to the next note, Option, and then you can use a chopper to and then just add your own. You know, and then you just add there right into the mixer, and then I press Option Command C, which is it just renders a pattern, and I like to turn off the effects so it's just raw. And then you kind of have that, and you can play with it even some more. Yeah, you can go back to chop. You can go to repeating, time bass. There's patterns in here too if I wanted to do like drum and bass half beat. It's just a cool way to get new patterns with Flex, which is a native FL plugin. Highly recommend trying that out with hi-hats too. That's just percussion, but there's like different ones. So yeah. All right, so tip 5 is my juice. It's how I make my sub or my basses, like Thief and all that kind of stuff. What I'll do is I'll go to 3XOSC. I'll bring all the chords down of all the oscillators to -24. So you get just like a regular sub. I'll put that in a mixer track, and then I'll route that to a second mixer track. And with a second mixer track, because it's going through both now, I'll add like an effector or something like that, like a distortion. I'll bypass it. And because the low end is being also messed with, I'll always, at the end of the chain, I'll kind of cut the sub, like just around here, like right in the middle. I would say what this is, yeah, like 180 hertz. And yeah, it kind of just keeps the integrity of the low end, but you add that second insert routed, and you're able to mess with the distortion without losing the integrity of the sub. And yeah, it's super useful. Then with 3XOSC, I'll pop up the detailed settings, go to the volume, and kind of just play with, you know, play with that a little bit. Super useful. I love this. I love the saw, like distorted bass, but keeping that low end integrity is super important. And what I'll also like to do is on the OSC, go to like Maximus, and then bring up the low end. Just kind of pump that a little bit more, and you get more of a detailed sound. So yeah, you can play with that a little bit. Go back to the effector and super clutch. I love this. I use this all the time. So try it out if that's what the sound you're going for. Just like a crazy bass. That's how I get that. Another tip I like is the LFO trill situation, where you'll take a lead like this. Right, and then you can also, once you find it here, I'll go to the top. I'll do like some pitch range. I'll go +12. Do the same for the bottom of the actual VST. So it's also working all the way down 12 steps, and then pitch it down like so. Right, pretty cool. I think we can upgrade it a little bit more. If we right click the volume, create an automation clip for that, double click it, make it LFO, amount all the way up, and then speed. If we speed it up all the way and create an automation clip of that, we just ramp it one way, kind of the same as a pitch, and then It's a cool like effect, especially if you have a lead already. And then you can kind of consolidate this as its own thing. If you want to keep that for later for something, like with an impact, you just add like an impact or whatever. It's kind of, it works together. It's pretty sick. Useful for like edits or just like an outro of a drop or something, or of a song even. Yeah, I use that pretty often. Super clutch. Highly recommend trying that on your next song. Rewind myself. All right, so my final trick for this video, I do this a lot, is I'll add again a 3XO-SC is my starting point, but this time what I like to do is hit the dice, which is like just noise, right? And if we go to detailed settings here, and also once we'll lay out a pattern that's just like 4 on the floor, fill in 4 steps, right? So you have right, and then add some like a release, so there's like that tail. If you go to the mod area, filter mod, and go to like BP or HP, you're able to get some like cool ride noises. You can also loosen the attack a little bit. And I like just add this on top of my drums. It's just like gives it good motion. And there's so many combinations that I use that pretty much in every song. Even for just like the hit of the drums, of the kicks, I'll just kind of throw that there, and it adds a little bit more character. You know, it's cool. It's I love the constant, like almost like a China splash. So I use that in my songs all the time. It sounds good on 4 on the floor even. If I were to just do this and just have it go, it just kind of, hits a spot. Obviously I'd use different drums for that, but you get the idea. So yeah, those are a couple tricks and tips that I use in my workflow. A couple sound things that make just a big difference when I'm producing. I have a lot more that I would love to share with you, but I didn't want to keep this video too long. So I hope you guys enjoy this, and if you want more of this kind of content, let me know in the comments. Maybe what you have issues with, or what you're trying to like, maybe something you've heard in my past songs that you want me to go over. Let me know. I just want to give back to you guys a little bit of my knowledge, and hope you guys enjoy it. Till next time, peace.